this phrase which people love to use and say, which is like, I am just being humble. But I've realized that sometimes being humble is not about goodness or grace. Rather, it is an excuse. It is an excuse that we make to find peace with the fact that we gave up easily on something we truly, truly wanted. Because deep down, we are scared. You are scared of failing at that very thing. We love to say that life humbled me, but really, did life even humble you? Or you humbled yourself before life could even test you? You literally pulled yourself back before the world could even see what you were capable of doing. And then you wrapped that withdrawal around this soft word called humility so that it would sting a little less. And even right now, when you are listening to this, to me saying all of this, your ego might be reacting a little. You might be feeling like, mm-hmm, that's not right. That's not correct for me. You might be feeling this urge to say, that's not for me. And this urge to defend yourself, to prove that you are right and that I am wrong. And that exactly is the part of you that does not want to grow and possibly set you free. Because when I say that sometimes humility is an excuse, I am not attacking your character, I am rather holding up a mirror, and that is uncomfortable to look at. But if you truly, truly can drop all the justifications just for a moment, you'll probably see that it wasn't it wasn't humility that stopped you. It was resistance. It was a part of you that did not want to face its own shortcomings. And the ego hates that. The ego wants to stay right, even if right means being stuck. There's a difference between being humble and being disconnected from your own power. You can be kind, you can be compassionate, you can be generous, you can be grounded, but don't call it humility when it is actually fear in disguise. Fear that if you go all in and you still fail, then you will have to face yourself, right? And if you go all in, then you might lose the very people you love because some of them might not resonate with that version of you. So instead, you preempt yourself. You preempt the pain. You take yourself out of the game early. And then you tell yourself that I was just being humble. Nowadays, I have noticed one more thing, and it is true not just for the examples that I'm going to give you, but for many other things as well, which is that singers like Anuv Jain or Pratik Kuhar, these new age independent artists who write, compose, produce, and do everything on their own, probably. And their style is quite different. It is not something very traditional. And then I'll often see people from mainstream, even listeners, and I used to be one of those people, if I'm being honest, that we would bash them, saying things like, it is not real music, or this generation does not understand classical depth. And the funny part is that if, let's say, a singer is criticizing these singers, if they can just be very, very honest with themselves, then they would realize that they actually want what these artists have, which is the freedom to express without any restrictions, having the courage to express yourselves without caring for validation. But instead of admitting that, the ego steps in and says, I know more, I am better, and they don't know what real art is. I'm just being humble telling them what's better for them. But are you really being humble, or you're just jealous? Like, think about it. Think about it. And do you see how subtle that is? How subtle that is. It is not humility, it is ego trying to appear graceful. It's insecurity wearing politeness like a perfume. And by the way, I am not saying this because I'm some kind of a fan of their music. I hardly listen to it. But I have seen this pattern prevail very often, and people bashing what they secretly desire, all while pretending that they're being humble or refined. But true humility is quiet. It is quiet, it does not need to put anybody else down. False humility, on the other hand, wants to appear calm, composed, but it is actually just protecting the ego from admitting that I wish that were me. Because admitting that somebody else's expression triggers you would mean that you have surpassed your own. And we have glorified this idea of being humble so much so that people have started thinking that having an ambition is ignorance, it is arrogance. But let me tell you one thing, right? There's nothing wrong with I want more because I can be more. Gratitude is powerful, yes, but gratitude that limits your expansion is not gratitude. It is fear camouflaged as acceptance. Humility does not mean shrinking yourself, it means knowing that you are powerful and choosing not to misuse it. However, when you keep telling yourself that I don't need much, I'm okay with being small, I'm okay with adjusting, you are literally signaling to the universe that you are not ready to receive. Because you must have seen this in your households, even. The person who keeps on adjusting will end up adjusting for the rest of their lives. The thing is, energy responds to belief. If you believe that you are undeserving of greatness because you want to appear humble, then even the opportunities that might be coming to you will pass you by. Remember, the universe does not reward modesty, it rewards your alignment, it rewards rightful action, it rewards rightful state of mind. If your soul has come here with a certain magnitude, then playing small is not noble. It is resistance. Being humble does not mean lowering your fire, it means keeping that fire under control, directed, not diminished. You can absolutely be the most kind person out there without dimming your life. You can be so generous without apologizing for your power, and you can be grounded for all you want while being unstoppable. And listen very carefully when I say this. If there is something you want, you have a goal in life, you want to achieve something, go batshit crazy for it. Cry for it, sweat for it, lose your sleep over it. Because that's what devotion looks like, right? Surrender towards it. Trust the timing, trust the process. But don't just give up upon it because you want to appear humble. People will call you obsessed, people will call you crazy, and let them. Let people call you whatever. It is so much better to be obsessed with your calling than having a regret when you turn 80 years old. Because truly, life does not reward those who stay safe, it rewards the one who stay true to their calling. Be kind, be grounded, but don't be too humble that you forget that you were never meant to blend in, rather, you were meant to blaze through. And with that, I will see you in the next video.